Hello and welcome once again to the Useless Ideas Podcast. I am Matthew Churchill as usual, and next to my side here is from my what's his right is Curtis the Schmitty Smith.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. So,
I know we said we'd be a while before we do sports again, but fuck it, we're doing sports again because that's literally all we know.
That's all we're good at. And also, I mean, we're both pretty unhappy with the results of our little playoff adventure for the Toronto Maple Leafs. God, Boston didn't deserve to win that series, first of all. But we're gonna get into hockey later, later down the show. That's gonna be for the most part. That's what this show, or this particular episode of the show, is going to be about, is obviously fallout from that series against Boston, and what the future sort of looks like for the Leafs, and what we would do if we were allowed to be the GMs. So yeah.
Okay, you wanted to do an NFL draft first, though, right? Correct?
Yeah. I want to talk about the NFL draft. I know you don't particularly care about football, so I'm going to try and make it pretty quick. But obviously, with me being a huge football fan, and especially college football, I love the NFL draft. And I definitely wanted to talk about it because that went down Thursday night. Right now it's Saturday, April 28th, which, I guess, happy birthday, Meghan.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, there you go. That's now out of the way. But yeah, I want to talk about the NFL draft. I'm just going to talk about the first round. Everything else is going down, of course, now, but or yesterday and today. But really, the biggest stories, of course, with any draft come out of the first round. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to go through quickly all 32 first-round picks, and then we're going to go talk hockey. I need a monster first. Always.
Not drinking alcohol?
Soon when we record our next episode of Cards Against Humanity. Look out for that next week, and we're going to record it later, so that should be fun. Anyways, I want to start by bitching, because what else would I do? Number one, I want to bitch at the Cleveland Browns, because how do you Browns 2 picks in the first 5 of the draft? Number one, it starts with first pick. So, Ohio, where Cleveland is located, is not a very nice state in the winter because, snow and terrible weather.
And it's square.
That too. And they play in the AFC North, which requires traveling to Pittsburgh and Baltimore and Cincinnati, which is obviously also in Ohio. So you would think that what you should do with the first round pick is draft a talented, athletic, big quarterback with a really big arm who is mature and ready to turn around a franchise like the Browns. You had Sam Darnold, of course, who they should have taken with the first pick because, he's by far the best quarterback in the draft in terms of athletic ability and in terms of overall arm strength, I think. And if they wanted to take a quarterback who is a little more refined, Josh Rosen is on the board, and if you want to play in those really rough weather outdoor stadium games, and you want a big quarterback to go up against the likes of Ben Roethlisberger for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you take Josh Allen from Wyoming. Instead, they drafted Baker Mayfield, a 5'11" quarterback who is not very athletic, who played in the South at Oklahoma, which is in the Big 12, which is a conference where nobody plays defense. And, Baker Mayfield got arrested last year, or the year prior. Either way, he's got major character concerns. So there's that. Plus, I mean, obviously he's going to the factory of sadness, which is Cleveland. So get ready, Browns fans. You can add Mayfield to that ever-growing list of quarterbacks because you're drafting another one next year after you go 0-16 again.
Watch them go 19-0 this year.
I don't even have to respond to that.
And watch them actually do this. Watch them.
Next pick. Pick number 2, New York Giants on the clock, and they selected Saquon Barkley, who I think is, in terms of raw athletic ability, absolutely freakish. He is so good and really helps out taking my idea basically is with Eli Manning at this point, the more responsibility you can make him not have to deal with and the fewer times you can actually make him throw in a game, the better. So getting a guy like Saquon Barkley is huge for the Giants. Great pick. I think they could have gone for drafting a quarterback, but Giants fans wouldn't really tolerate that. Obviously, we saw what happened last year with them deciding to bench Eli. The shit show that the Giants fans had. So definitely not necessarily something I would have. I might have gone for a quarterback, but I see the reason they went for Barkley, and Barkley is a fantastic pick. Plus, since they took now former Patriot left tackle Nate Solder to improve their offensive line, that's going to be huge because improving that line and getting a home run hitter like Saquon Barkley is going to be huge for the Giants, and they can really turn things around next year, or at least improve on 3-13.
Home run hitter? I thought this was football. But
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Matt. So, pick 3, the New York Jets. Absolutely amazing pick. They picked Sam Darnold, who is the best player in the draft, the best quarterback in the draft, and absolutely the player that the Cleveland Browns should have taken. Ready to start right this second from a talented school at USC in a really good conference in the Pac-12, who he can win, he is polished, he's refined, he's ready to go. He's not quite as refined as Josh Rosen, but he is still very, very talented and has a great arm, really accurate, and very, very athletic. He's going to do a really good job, I think, and because of his size, he's going to be able to tolerate the games in New York and the games in Buffalo and in Foxborough, because he has to deal with that twice a year. He has to deal with Buffalo twice a year and New England twice a year, which obviously for most of football season, the weather there is pretty terrible because, well, Buffalo's basically Canada and Massachusetts gets a crap load of snow. So
essentially Canada again, but with
Yeah.
voodoo people.
Hey, Boston's pretty cool. Except
It's
for the
Boston.
Bruins. Fuck the Bruins. But go Pats, go. So that's besides the point. Really good choice, I think, for the Jets to have taken Darnold. I think they were gearing up probably to take Josh Rosen because everybody would have thought that Cleveland would actually do something right for a change. Which brings us to pick number 4. The Cleveland Browns again, who selected Denzel Ward. Why they didn't select the top-rated defensive player in Bradley Chubb from North Carolina State is beyond me, but even if they decided, okay, we're not going to take another pass rusher because Myles Garrett, they had on the board was Minkah Fitzpatrick, who I've watched play since he got to the University of Alabama, and as a true freshman, he got a ton of responsibility from Nick Saban, who is college football's Bill Belichick, and he was given a ton of responsibility, played absolutely fantastic. He is completely ready for the NFL, and is going to be a stud, and he's going to be the defensive captain wherever he goes after his first couple years. So you have him, and you have former former Michigan Wolverine, Jabril Peppers at safety. Those two running your backfield, that's going to be really, really scary for the next 8 to 10 years. So huge, like that would have been a huge pick, but instead they chose the, I think, overrated Denzel Ward. He had a really great combine and everything, and he was really, and he's reportedly super good or whatever. Seem to think he's, the best cover corner in the draft. Possibly, but I don't think it was necessarily a good pick. It wasn't Baker Mayfield terrible, but it wasn't the pick they should have made.
Well, I guess we'll see in the season, question mark?
Yeah, we're basically going to have to see, but I think this was sort of a panic pick for them, sort of trying to find a Joe Hayden replacement. But I just don't think they should have gone with a corner. They should have, if they wanted to go defense, should have gone with a safety possibly in Minkah Fitzpatrick. If they wanted another pass rusher, Bradley Chubb was on the board. And if they wanted to, or they could have gone linebacker and taken Roquan Smith from Georgia, who is an absolute beast. So that would have worked very, very well too. But unfortunately, Cleveland, because they refused to do anything right. Which brings us to a team with a all-star pass rusher, the Denver Broncos, having Von Miller, who is probably, outside of J.J. Watt, the best pass rusher in the entire league. And they took another pass rusher, Bradley Chubb from North Carolina State. So you've got Bradley Chubb on one side and Von Miller on the other. That's going to be scary. And now they've got a quarterback, or mostly got a quarterback, provided Case Keenum continues to play in his Minnesota form and not in his typical expectations of Case Keenum form. Then Indianapolis selected Quentin Nelson from Notre Dame, best offensive lineman in the draft. Great pick. Get Andrew Luck some protection. He desperately needs it. He's going to be a huge difference maker. Awesome pick. Buffalo trades up to select Josh Allen. Another really good pick. Like I said, when I was talking about Mayfield there, really tall, really big guy. Great to survive in the tough weather of the AFC East and Buffalo. So that's going to be, I think, a really good pick for the Bills. Better choice, I think, personally, than taking Rosen, just because Rosen's a little smaller. He's a little more. I don't know how well he would do in the Northeast. I think he's going to be really good wherever he goes, but I do think that he would be a little more successful, sort of on the outside, like in Arizona where he went. I think he's going to be really good going in the NFC West. But I'll get into that in a minute. The Bears took a fantastic linebacker, Roquan Smith from the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. Great pick. He was the best linebacker in the country last year, and honestly for most of his career at Georgia. Super, super talented, and he is going to be just fantastic. He's going to be awesome against the run, and I think he will eventually turn into a good cover guy. He's good now, but I think he's going to become really good later after a couple of years. Mike McGlinchey, Notre Dame, another offensive tackle, was taken by the Niners. Great pick to replace the aging Joe Staley and improve the offensive line, for the Niners, and get Jimmy Garoppolo a lot of protection. So, fantastic pick. Arizona selected Josh Rosen. I've obviously talked about how great I think Josh Rosen is. I think when you get compared to sort of the Peyton Manning style of quarterback, that's a great guy to be compared to. And he got a really good system and a great spot to go again, or a spot to play in, rather. Because the NFC West, you get two California teams. He's out of Arizona, and Seattle's the worst weather city, which is mostly just kind of dreary and rainy. So
the rainy is the best. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Miami selected the best defensive back in the draft, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Talked about that. Tampa selected Vita Vea, a defensive tackle from Washington. Good pick. I'm going to start running through sort of the mid picks because most of these are really good picks. Washington, fuck you, Dan Snyder, selected Daron Payne from Alabama. Awesome pick. New Orleans got Marcus Davenport, who I think is just as talented, or maybe not just as, but pretty close to as talented as Bradley Chubb out of UTSA. Great pick for the Saints. They needed that. Colton Miller from UCLA was selected by the Raiders at 15. Another good pick. Buffalo got a second pick in the first round at 16 and selected Tremaine Edwards from Virginia Tech. Again, good pick. Derwin James, who I expected to go much higher, safety from Florida State, slipped all the way down to the Los Angeles Chargers at 17.
So kind of like Lilligren in the past NHL draft.
Bingo.
I think he was supposed to.
He should have gone higher.
Top 7, I think.
Yeah, and he just
got 17th, I think.
Yeah,
15th, 16th.
exactly.
Or something.
Same thing here. I thought Derwin James was going to go higher, but hey, really great pick. The Chargers got a steal of a safety. I think that they made a really good choice. The Packers selected Jair Alexander from Louisville. Another good pick. Really, really good for them to improve their defense because I think they need to start making a legitimate effort to actually improve their anything to do with their defense to try and keep Aaron Rodgers and actually be successful. They selected in the second round Josh Jackson, another cornerback, but he was from Iowa, another really good player, good fit for them. They need to improve that secondary huge. So, really good pick. 19, the Cowboys took Leighton Vander Esch, a linebacker from Boise State. Another good pick. They needed fills a need for them. The Lions selected Arkansas's interior lineman Frank Ragnow. A lot of these were really good picks. I think they made smart choices, most teams. Cincy, good pick with Billy Price from Ohio State. Tennessee got another steal. Rashaan Evans, a linebacker from Alabama. Probably shouldn't have fallen that far, but he did. Great choice for the Titans to pick up a linebacker, and especially one that is the caliber of Rashaan Evans. My New England Patriots, with their first pick, selected an offensive lineman, Isaiah Wynn from the University of Georgia, who I've watched play. He is great, really, really talented, and he sort of I think it's a good pick for him or for the Patriots, and he's been able to really hang in there at the University of Georgia. I thought it was a good pick, personally. The Panthers selected DJ Moore from Maryland, a wide receiver. Again, I think it's a pretty good pick. Steve Smith really loved it, and he said basically this is the first guy that the Panthers have drafted that would replace him. So pretty high praise there. Baltimore's first pick in the first round was Hayden Hurst, a tight end from South Carolina. Pretty good pick. They need to improve their tight end depth. So good choice. Atlanta, holy crap, they're going to be scary next year. Noah, your poor Saints defense, you're fucked for 2 games when you play Atlanta because they selected the best wide receiver in the draft, Calvin Ridley from the University of Alabama. Why he fell to 26 is beyond me because he was a top 10 caliber prospect. And yeah, now that defense or that offense, as if it needed to get scarier, now has another Alabama wide receiver who is going to just destroy this league to go along with Julio Jones. So yeah, that's pretty scary for the NFC South. Seattle Seahawks selected Rashad Penny from San Diego State, a running back. Good pick. They can improve they need to improve their running back depth and get a player there that can take some of the pressure off Russell Wilson because they had a garbage run game last year and Russell Wilson can't do everything himself. He is incredible, but that's the reality is he just can't do everything on his own. Pittsburgh selected Terrell Edmonds, a safety from Virginia Tech. Again, good pick. Jacksonville, Taven Bryan, D tackle from the University of Florida. Again, good pick. Minnesota with Mike Hughes from UCF, cornerback. Good pick to go on the other side of Xavier Rhodes and Trey Waynes. Good pick there. New England, the second pick, selected Sony Michel, a running back from the University of Georgia, who is absolutely fantastic, and he is so fast. Absolutely awesome pick. I'm so happy with the Patriots because they selected two players from my favorite school, the University of Georgia, and Sony Michel is going to replace and improve upon what Deion Lewis could do for this team. So that's really awesome. And then the Ravens traded with the Eagles for a second first-round pick, which they selected, for some reason, a quarterback, Lamar Jackson, who was the best quarterback left, but not a good quarterback. They selected future running back or wide receiver, Lamar Jackson from the University of Louisville. Joe Flacco is not elite, obviously. He is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. I kind of think this is a stupid pick, but I've never really been on the Lamar Jackson hype train, so maybe he'll prove me wrong. But yeah, I just wanted to basically spend some time and talk about first round of the NFL draft. That's all 32 picks. I just needed to get that out of the way and sort of bitch about it because I like talking football. So
I have a question before we kind of end up on
Sure.
Football. As you said before, I'm not the biggest fan of football. I don't pay attention much to it, except for like a handful of stories here and there.
Yeah.
Is what you say to me, and if I'm watching the highlights, and
Right.
I'll watch the highlights there. But I'm assuming it does. I'm assuming it does because most other sports I think do, at least team sports. Is there like outside of college? Is there any type of kind of like minor league?
high school.
Okay.
High school.
Okay.
You like college is the minor leagues because obviously with the NHL you don't have to go to college. You can get drafted at 18 straight out of high school or whatever minor league you've been playing in. No, you basically you prove yourself in college to be drafted into the NFL. And I mean part of it is the reality is drafting a kid straight out of high school at 18 years of age. That kid's going to get killed by the 260-pound linebackers roaming the NFL.
Yeah, because people coming at just like the off chance that they're not, but they're still likely that they're
Some are they're going to be bigger, sure. They're going to be bigger than an average person, sure, coming out of high school.
But there's also the equal chance that they're me's.
Correct.
5'8", 135.
Yeah. No, exactly. But that's what I mean is, college gives the opportunity to improve and put on weight so you can actually survive at the NFL level. Because the reality is, you're gonna get destroyed if you're a quarterback or a wide receiver or whatever coming straight out of high school when you run into 260-pound linebackers who are gonna put an imprint of your body 4 feet into the ground. So.
Not quite 6 feet because they kind of want you to live through the rest of the game.
They want you to live, but they're gonna put you down, and they're gonna put you down hard. So, yeah,
Down enough that you hurt, but not enough that you're dead.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're good to talk hockey then.
I think so.
Okay, so
Those are chips.
That
Okay.
is a bag of chips that I just sat on. Anyways, what you want to talk about?
The draft lottery, I believe, happened today.
It's happening today.
Let me just bring up that to see who got what.
Okay.
That's the playoff standings. That's scores. I think you go into news. That's the thing. There we go. So the thing I'm looking at right now is the draft lottery order set for picks number 4 through 15.
Yep.
For net number 4, Ottawa Senators. Number 5, Arizona Coyotes. Number 6, Detroit Red Wings. Number 7, Vancouver Canucks. Number 8, Chicago Blackhawks. Number 9, New York Rangers. Number 10, Oilers.
No.
That's not number 1.
It has a 1 in it, so it probably means they're getting Rasmus Dahlin because that's how this works. Is the Oilers get every number 1 pick, all of them.
The Islanders get both number 11 and 12
That's great.
because of a trade they had with Calgary. Dallas has 13.
Yep.
The Flyers, Philadelphia, has number 14.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
Philadelphia Flyers.
The Fidel Castro Flyers?
Yes. Yay, communism. Don't kill me.
That reminds me. I'm still alive, bitches. Even though I exposed the Illuminati last week, I didn't get murdered. So
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
pull up, pussy boy.
Yeah, the Flyers.
Try and kill me.
Vancouver calling.
Oh, I hope it is. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, the Flyers.
By the way, the moon is fake. Hollow moon is a thing. We're
Moon is
gonna.
just the back of the sun.
Yeah. Anyway. Anyways,
So anyway,
the Panthers got the 15th pick.
yeah,
so.
the Flyers got the 14th because of a trade with St. Louis. So it was originally St. Louis's pick, and then the
Florida
Panthers,
Panthers.
rather got number 15. The number 1 through 3 picks I don't think have been decided yet as of right now, but they have come down to between Carolina, Montreal, and Buffalo.
Okay.
Frick Buffalo.
Dude, the Sabres suck so much. Honestly, it's actually hilarious.
Well, I mean, at least they got top 3, so I mean, there's that.
Yeah, but they're still going to be terrible.
They're probably going to get third. But
Yeah, and they're just terrible. Just awful, horrible, terrible
they're so
team.
Bad they go into the terrible lottery and then come in last.
They are literally worse than the Coyotes, who gave them an 11-game head start. How do you do worse than a team that goes 0-10-1
in
in their first 11? Brutal. But anyways.
Anyway, so that's just a
updates.
that was announced today, prior to game 2 of the Vegas San Jose game.
Yeah.
Today being the before
28th.
the 28th and stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys will know the score of that tomorrow. Today I guess.
Yeah.
When it's supposed to.
Whenever it's over. So that should be fairly soon, I suppose.
Let me just quickly check the score of that. Vegas is up 1-0 just into the second. And
Yeah.
Boston beat Tampa
Fuck
6-2.
the Bruins.
Fuck the Bruins.
Fuck the Bruins.
Say fuck the Bruins.
What?
Fuck the Bruins.
Fuck the Bruins.
There we go.
Thank you. This is, our lovely producer is just
Quote unquote producer.
ignoring us.
Well, I'm listening to quality.
Can we get a fuck the Bruins, please,
I'm
Sophie?
drinking my alcohol.
I am an innocent child. I don't swear.
Can I get a fuck the Bruins, though?
Hey, the
No.
frick the Bruins.
Can you say I dislike?
Can we get a frick the Bruins, then?
Boston can die. How about that?
That works for me. Close enough.
If you couldn't hear that, that's it. She said Boston.
Boskin.
Boston.
Boston can die.
Thank you.
Sorry for anyone wearing headphones.
Headphone user warning. There go your
So,
ears.
Pretty sure I got Boston's draft pick. It's the referees.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you. But anyways, now I guess since obviously I guess we need to talk about the series.
Yeah.
Mostly,
I mean, you don't have to, but I mean,
as you saw from my Twitter ranting.
I have to read this now.
Oh, I hate Jay Gardner so much. God, he's so bad. So, 1 point, -6 in that series.
that
and-
is the least of his worries.
Yeah, and that doesn't tell you the whole story of just how bad Jake Gardner was this series, because he is responsible for a crapload of goals that Boston scored by whether it was being out of position or turning the puck over. He constantly turned the puck over and just played horrible hockey, and it resulted in, unsurprisingly, the Leafs losing. It's like it was brutal to see, because this is supposed to be our top pairing type of defenseman, and we pay him $4 million a year to perform like that. Like, awful. Like, just horrendous. Mitch Marner was a better defenseman than Jake Gardner was that series.
As a winger.
Correct. That's what I mean. Like, it was horrible. Just awful. And while the defense as a whole obviously didn't play very well, I mean, outside of Morgan Riley, who played as well as Morgan Riley always plays, which is really, really well. And I was impressed with Travis Dermott, but the defense as a whole performed really poorly. Obviously, Gardner was the worst of that, and honestly, I'm glad he took responsibility for being.
He full-heartedly took like most of that blame because
At least he took. I will say, at least he took the blame. He is human, and I have no problem with Jake Gardner as a human being.
like
However, I have a problem with Jake Gardner as number 51 for the Toronto Maple Leafs because he is a terrible defenseman.
I believe if I recall correctly, I heard a lot of reports of him actually like taking the blame after the Game 7 and actually crying.
Yeah, like I mean, I feel badly for him as a person. As a hockey player, I do not feel badly for him because if you don't want to have to deal with that, play better. Just play at the level of an NHL defenseman.
And yes, I am seeing a lot of what the people are saying. Are like, yeah, he's terrible. He should be not with the Leafs or whatever. A lot of that stuff. I've seen a lot of screen grabs of his Instagram comments of his Instagram.
Yeah, like
pictures.
don't be assholes because at the end of the day we are still dealing with a human being, and I don't believe in being an asshole necessarily to him. I feel, like I said, I feel badly for him as a person, but it's just a matter of, so that's sort of my takeaway is just like there's no reason to be harassing somebody or going after somebody and attacking people. It's just it's shitty. Like just
Well, I don't think the entire blame should be on.
No, the entire blame is not on Jay Gardner. It's just he definitely.
If we were to say a weak link,
Yeah,
if we were to say a weak link, it'd probably be Gardner.
probably.
I'm just trying to be a little bit optimistic.
Yeah, no, it would. Yeah. Obviously, I get that, but like still, not okay the way that that performance went. So that's obviously not gonna that needs to not continue. Basically,
Offense
played
for
really,
the
really
most
well,
part.
For the most part,
About 80%. No, not 80%. About 70% of the time.
yeah, I think they played really well. Obviously, the player Marner was the MVP. Absolutely, Mitch Marner, my favorite player on the team, played awesome hockey for 7 games.
What about good old Dad Marlowe?
Yeah, I said prior to the playoffs, Patrick Marleau was going to be the X factor for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I was right. He was huge for them, and like that was massive to have a guy with all that experience like Marleau. So very impressed with his performance as well. And when we get into talking about what we want to do next year, I really hope he stays. That would be huge. So.
Another one is that when Plekanec was up on the second line for second or third line, whichever it was.
Yeah, with Marleau and Marner.
He played great because we actually put him into the situation in which he was playing over in the
and what he's good at and what he's supposed to be put into.
Because when he was with the fourth line,
there was no point.
He was just kind of there.
He was sort of invisible until Game 3 when he went on to the second line. So, like, I think it's pretty self-explanatory for me personally. He played really, really well when he was put in a position to play really well.
So, earlier this evening, unless there's more complaints about...
What?
Okay. So, just a little bit mishap behind the scenes here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Yeah.
We earlier, unless there's more stuff that you wish to speak upon the series.
No.
No?
I'm over on this. I'm over the series. We're good. I'm
Okay.
ready to talk about.
Okay. So earlier this evening, we kind of theory crafted lines, feature lines,
And
for
how
next-
we want the This is. I guess I'll dig into my plan. What I would do. If I was in Lou Lamoriello's position. So.
in head office's position.
Yeah. Well, he's the GM.
Yeah, I know,
so-
but like in general, it's not just his position.
Obviously,
but
but yes, you understand what I'm saying. So, starts with step 1. Trade or release Jake Gardner. Get him gone. Get that $4 million pylon out of the roster.
try to get as much of the
If-
money
if-
attached to
yeah.
him gone.
If somebody's willing to trade for him,
We're not taking him.
yeah, no. If a team is dumb enough to trade for him, take full advantage.
Call Buffalo.
Call Buffalo.
Hey, do you need a winger?
Hey Cleveland, would you like a hockey player? He'll probably be a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield.
He's
So
gonna
go for it.
he's gonna grab the skinniest guy and just go
Yeah,
just
perfect.
saucer pass it.
Just saucer pass him to the end zone. Works for me, dude. But no, just basically get rid of Gardner. If you can get a trade for him, trade him.
Try to retain as little of his.
Salary as you
Yeah.
possibly can. Either way, prevent him from. He should not continue to wear a Maple Leaf jersey. He's done. Over it. Get him off of the team. Number 2, I would personally trade Roman Polak. Mostly just because, and you brought this up, I thought you made a great point. He doesn't really fit the style of the rest of the defense. And what I was saying is I think we've got a guy who can do what Polak has been able to do, sort of without really, with a higher skill cap. I think we've got 2 of them in Zach Hyman and Nazem Kadri. I think both those guys can do the same thing that Polak does, but be higher skill players and put more pucks in the net. So I think you can trade him for a mid to late round pick or a prospect.
It'll probably end up being a prospect and a pick,
That would be really nice.
or maybe even a current player and a pick.
Yeah,
But
I would think that he easily could go to the Bruins should Zdeno Chara retire after this year. That would be a place that I can see him going, and possibly that could lead us into potentially a higher pick, because Boston, like a higher round pick, because Boston picks so late, obviously continuing to be in the playoffs. So I think that might be a good choice. That being said, obviously, ideally you'd like to send a guy like Polak. Like you'd kind of want to send your guys into the West, where you play those teams fewer times per year.
Yeah, 1 or 2 times a year compared to like 3 to 5.
Yeah, compared to very, very frequently. So
Like Buffalo, and they're like 5 times in
Yeah.
the last 20 games or some shit like that.
yeah, exactly. Like you don't want to go up. You don't necessarily want to trade your guys, especially a guy that is still pretty decent in Roman Polak. I just think it's a better choice for them to trade him. So that's what I would do, as far as the defense is concerned with getting those guys gone. Then, signing.
Potential signings.
Re-signing, basically.
Re-signing
Reports,
first,
reports are coming out that Tyler Bozak wants to stay with the Maple Leafs,
which is great because he's been
it's awesome. He's really good. I like Bozak a lot.
Bozy.
Yeah, re-sign him, keep him with this team. JVR comes up for being a UFA this year, so re-sign James Van Riemsdyk. I do think he'd want to stay with the Leafs because now this is a good team. We talked about this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think it was on the show.
Maybe
Either way,
we didn't. If we didn't, then oops.
oops. Yeah. Either way, we've talked about it before. No, we definitely talked about it on the show before. But anyways, yeah. So keep. I would say re-sign Van Riemsdyk. I would think that's a good choice. Retain Patrick Marleau. if he doesn't retire, which I really hope he doesn't, I think that retaining him is going to be a really good pick, or a really good choice for us. Hopefully he'll stay with the Leafs, because I really like Marleau.
He's being a good dad.
Absolutely. Top quality dad. But yeah, I would keep him. Then, if Plekanec stays, if he doesn't go back to the Habs or other team, if he stays with the Leafs, then what I would do is trade Leo Komarov for a probably early to mid-round pick and a prospect. I think you can easily get that, because honestly, there's no point in wasting a roster spot for a guy that's really not going to play that much in Leo Komarov, when he is pretty good and would be used better by another team, unfortunately. So I'd personally trade him. He's getting up there in age. So that's sort of my personal choice would be, if Plekanec stays, trade Komarov. If Plekanec goes, we keep Komarov, and we'll do the lines that I would like to see next year. Pardon me. I just need to get a drink. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm
just trying to remember what pick we got for Nikita Soshnikov is all. 4th round pick in 2019.
Okay. Anyway, so I would get now into if we want to on our lines here, we have it all sort of if we were building the Leafs from within the organization. Granted, there is the possibility to sign guys from outside the organization. That obviously would be on the defense.
Yeah, just if you guys are wanting a visual reading of this, I believe I have posted it on my Twitter earlier today, so it'd probably be about I don't know, 18 hours old by the time this goes live.
Yeah, but so that got posted if you want to take a look. What I would say is this: if we want to sign defensemen from outside the organization, two good choices that are coming up are Drew Doughty of the Los Angeles Kings and Erik Karlsson of the Ottawa Senators. Those two are obviously wicked good defensemen, and I think Karlsson we can get for cheaper because he had a rough year this year. It was a much more down year, and I think he's over Ottawa anyways. So it was obviously really down year for the Sens organization as a whole, but especially Erik Karlsson. So you can get him for much cheaper. I think probably $6 million, which is obviously a lot of money, but I think you're going to save that by trading Komarov, getting rid of Gardner, and trading Polak. So you can afford that, especially for a 1, maybe 2-year deal. And possibly longer, depending on the financials of if we're going to get into cap hell or not.
And depending on Carlson's asking price.
Fair enough.
And our offering price, I guess, too.
But I would say either Erik Karlsson or Drew Doughty are great choices for the Leafs to sign. They bring a great veteran presence and a ton of talent to a younger defense, especially if we do sort of my idea and bring up some players. It helps. It'll help mold Morgan Riley into a better defender. It'll help mold Nikita Zaitsev into a better defender. They're both good, but I think they can still obviously continue to get better. And so that's awesome, and it can help any of the younger guys improve and do what they needed to do, or do what they are needed to do. Pardon me.
Okay.
What the hell?
Okay, I just got a message from someone who's a Montreal Canadiens fan. He's in who's in this friend that I have. He is in this Montreal Canadiens fan page on not Twitter, on Facebook, and someone posted into that saying, "I think Brad Marchand is gay. Kiss all the man."
Fucking brutal. Anyways,
Got him.
yeah. Back to what I was talking about. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that meme. Thank you, Noah. We're talking about hockey here, buddy, but thank you for that. Anyways, like I said, I think if we sign Carlson or Doughty, that's going to be really, really huge for the Leafs. And like I said, it can help mold the younger defenders into some really, really talented guys for the next bunch of years. So that would be nice, but if we don't get it, I don't think it's going to... We're talking about... Stop showing us fucking memes, Noah.
No.
But if they're memes about hockey.
But what if they're good?
They're not, though.
They're not. They're just shit posts.
I'm sure you could turn it into hockey games. Eventually.
The Sabres.
There's a hockey meme. I'm gonna fucking... Boy, we're gonna have some issues, but it's fine. It's fine. Anyways, so we're gonna move on to sort of our ideas for our for the lines that I want. So, first line, Matthews and Nylander go back together. Duh. Self-explanatory. Those guys are fantastic. And then I would say put Zach Hyman on the other wing because he brings a really awesome physical presence while still being a skilled player and can help that team evolve into, or help that line evolve into being even better and have more of a physical presence than they necessarily do at the moment. Line 2 is Marner and Marlowe stay. And then if Plekanec is gone, Kasperi Kapanen centers that line, would be my choice. If Plekanec stays, he centers that line. And then Kapanen goes down to the fourth. Third line is JVR, Tyler Bozak, and Nazem Kadri. That would be my choice, personally. Although I can see putting Kadri back in the line with Marner and Marlowe because they played really well throughout most of... throughout most of last season. Fourth line, I would bring Andreas Janssen up to the Leafs. He played super well in the playoffs, and he was playing against a good team in the Boston Bruins. Fuck the Bruins, but they are a good team. So I would bring him up and bring Kapanen up, both full-time. Connor Brown goes down to that line and centers it. This is if Plekanec leaves and Kapanen centers the second line. And then have Komarov on that line with Brown and Andreas Janssen. That would be my choice. That said, like I said, if Plekanec stays, Komarov gets traded, and Kapanen centers that fourth line with Janssen and Brown on either side. Defensively, Morgan Rielly should get the C going into next year. It would be, I think, both of our choice from what I'm getting from you.
Although for different reasons, probably.
Well, he's your favorite, and I just think he's the best fit to be a captain. Anyways, yeah, he and Nikita Zaitsev would be my choice for first pairing. What I've done is I like personally having one guy who's a left-handed shot and one guy who's a right-handed shot, just based on the way that I like to set up play, the way that I think that I like plays to be set up, the way it works best for me personally in my hockey experience. So that would be my choice. So you'll notice that I have that built, so that those guys are going to be, one's a lefty, one's a righty. Helps with passing and stuff like that. So, like I said, Rielly and Zaitsev, top pairing. Pairing number 2, bring up Justin Hull from the Marlies and pair him with Ron Hainsey. So, because Hainsey is a veteran, 38 years old. He has 38 or 37?
High 30s, yeah.
Yeah, late 30s. Anyway, so he brings a bit of a veteran presence and can help Hull develop. And then third/second, doesn't really matter. These two pairings are interchangeable. Timothy Liljegren goes with Travis Dermott as the third or second pairing. It doesn't really matter when those guys go on, just so long as they're getting ice time and produce. That's sort of the way I would set the team up. And then obviously goaltending, Frederick Anderson starting, and Curtis McElhinney backing them up. Get McElhinney more games next year. I think it helps to rest Freddie, because we want him to be fresh sort of all the time.
Instead of like having have him start every second game of a back-to-back, have a couple of I think he played a good 11 games of 15 games, something like that.
I think so.
Have him play 25 this season instead.
I'd get it. Yeah, I would want him to play 20 to 25 games, because you want to keep like I was telling you, sort of same thing works with baseball. You don't have your catcher play 162 games, because especially if you're a playoff team, you will destroy that guy. Goalies have a similar job to a catcher. It is incredibly physical and incredibly exhausting. And so you don't want to be like, your center fielder in baseball can play 162 games and they're going to be fine to go for the playoffs. A catcher obviously can't, just based on the physical aspect of being a catcher. So I would say you want to get your goalie to be fresh. Like, you're still going to play, you're going to play Freddie for 55, 60 games type situation, or 55 to 65 games out of the season, and that's going to be more than enough for him to be able to get a bunch of wins and put the team into the playoffs and all that, but still be fresh to go for the actual playoffs when they come. That's sort of the way we've built out, or I've built out, my idea for the lines and my idea for the way I want the roster set up. Like I said, I'm not that caught up about if we sign Carlson or Doughty, because
there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts in this. Little,
there is a lot of ifs and a lot of speculation. This is just sort of why I'm saying, that's why I'm saying this is if I was GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Lots of ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah.
So I'll let you.
Actually, probably mine will probably be kind of similar.
Shocker, much like our playoff series, you're agreeing with my hockey opinions.
Although, I honestly don't know enough about the Molly people to entirely say whether or not these are good ones. I think you were roughly the same boat though.
Roughly, I mean, I've paid a little bit more attention probably, but not that much more.
Like, I don't think I've watched a single Molly's game in my life, to be honest. I might have a couple years ago. But yeah, if we were to trade or sign for, or trade for or sign some people, I'd most really want to re-sign, trade for some defensemen and re-sign the offensemen that are going off this season.
Forwards.
What is it?
Offensemen.
Oh, same thing.
Fair enough, but that just sounds stupid, so. Oh, well, that's okay. Yeah, so that's sort of where we're at with our...
that's it for hockey, I think,
our
right
future
now.
For what we would do with the Leafs, so...
you want to talk half a second about baseball, if you...
I'm impressed with the Blue Jays. They're playing much better than I thought they would, so good on you, Blue Jays. Jesus Christ. Boston's fucking scary. They've lost 4 games or some ridiculously low number like that. I think they're 21 and fucking 4 or something. They're so good. So that's scary.
MLB.
Yeah, if you just want to pull up. Oh, 19-7.
Let's see. Is there an overall? No,
Yeah, Jays are playing better than I thought they would. So
yeah,
that's good news.
They're third in the AL East.
At 14-12, which I'm glad they're above 500. I expected them to be playing sort of the way Baltimore's playing and be 7-19. So not great.
Kansas is doing terribly.
Yeah, Kansas City is doing terrible.
Has
National League,
200.
you want to pull that up for me real quick because I believe. Oh yeah, the Mets are playing well at 16-8. Go down to where are the D-backs are 19-7. So playing super well. Wow, San Diego's terrible. Who could have guessed? Literally anybody that watches baseball because the Padres fucking suck.
Cincinnati's 6-21.
God, that team is Joey Votto and a bunch of garbage.
Miami's 7-18.
That team is now just garbage because, Giancarlo Stanton plays for the Yankees. Yeah, so anyways, I'm impressed with the Jays. They're playing much better than I thought they would, which is obviously good news. So, happy about that. Go Jays, go. Yeah. I saw, this was probably last week now. Either way, I watched Bryce Harper launch a home run and shatter the bat while hitting it. So that was inhuman because, God, Bryce Harper's so good. Oh, I guess, speaking of guys that are so good, that reminds me of the other ridiculously elite player, Mike Trout, and now his teammate, Shohei Ohtani, who is both a pitcher and a fielder. And, yeah, he's doing really well. He's actually doing really well, and I'm so impressed. So that's super cool. Shohei Ohtani has been really cool to watch.
Actually, one person I'm kind of I don't want to use the word interested in because he's a Yank.
Ugh.
But see how well he's doing in Judge.
Oh, Aaron Judge, yeah.
That's schedule roster.
Yeah, see, Judge, I think, is hopefully he is going to sort of be Derek Jeter type situation where it's like, yeah, he's a Yankee, but I just can't dislike him type situation.
29 hits, 7 home runs,
7 homers, 17 RBIs, not bad. Okay, 1.7 WAR, not bad. Fine for an outfielder. Wins above replacement. Basically, just how many wins you're contributing to your team instead of a comparable AAA or instead of a AAA player, so that you could call up and replace, i.e. wins above replacement. So that's why they're outfielders are hard because they're a dime a dozen. So that's a pretty good WAR. Meanwhile, shortstops and stuff, they can have friggin' ridiculous fucking 14 wins above replacement or something because of how good they are.
Let me just go Pillow.
I've been impressed with Randall Grichuk, actually. He's been kind of impressive to me. I'm glad he's been pretty successful so far because I'm kind of a fan. So, yeah, that's my baseball takes.
Okay. Is that who you said, Grichuk?
Yeah, Grichuk.
Okay.
Like I said, WAR is a tough stat for outfielders because it's just one of those where it's there's so many of them that all hit very well. And especially when you have outfielders that are absolutely ridiculous, like Bryce Harper and Mike Trout, and especially then you also have outfielders like Judge and Stanton who just launch home runs like it's nobody's business. So it's really hard rather than finding, or it's why a shortstop with a 720 slugging percentage has friggin' 14 wins above replacement, and an outfielder with a 720 slugging percentage has 1 or 1.5, just because there's so many of them that can hit that well. So, yeah. But anyways, that's basically it for this particular show. It went by a little quicker than I thought it would, but hey, that's fine.
One last time for good measure. Fuck the Bruins.
Fuck the Bruins.
They
Noah,
can die.
Fuck the Browns.
Megan,
Fuck the Bruins.
They can die.
get one. Get one in there.
No, I'm
Get
an
a fuck
innocent human.
You gotta get a fuck the Bruins in there every once in a while.
No.
So apparently this is a good old Christian stream. Sorry, my bad.
Oh yeah, this is a
That-
Christian Minecraft server only. Oh man, but yeah,
Obviously Christian.
Yes, it is really fucking Christian up in here.
With
up in this bitch.
Yeah.
at least 2 atheists with me in that. I don't know about the rest of
Well, man, I
Hail Satan. Anyways,
you. Atheist.
most importantly, let's I guess call it and thank you. All right, so as always, thank you guys for listening. You can obviously subscribe to the channel if you want to catch our next streams. Fucking, I'm dumb. You can subscribe to the channel if you want to catch our next shows, and then yeah, you can, as always, feel free. You can to follow us on social. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Curtis Smitty, on Twitter at DravardMC. Everybody else is around here. They're doing things. You'll see them next episode when we do some Cards Against Humanity super fun time. There you go.
If you even heard that.
If you heard that, doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We're gonna also, I guess, since I'm gonna make sure we start uploading these onto SoundCloud, you guys can follow/subscribe. I don't know what you do on SoundCloud, but like, keep in touch with us on there. Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Take care and enjoy the rest of your night.
See ya!
Fuck the Bruins.
Fuck the Bruins!
Fuck the Browns.
Ah!